The DNA certificate that Dongju is Ildo's child was apparently sent by Mr. Yum. He sent the letter as his last message to Dongju before he died. While in the parking lot, Taeyun saw his father who seemed to be in a hurry and Taeyun followed him. Before meeting Ildo, Dongju listened to a recording between Mr. Yum and a man in the past. Mr. Yum asked him to watch Ildo carefully. Because if he changed his mind and confessed, then they could be in trouble. Even though Ildo had killed his best friend, lover, and his own son at once, Ildo did not know that he was his son. Chu Jaewan died before he could tell her. It turned out that Dongju's mother was a former activist who turned into a spy who was recruited while working at a factory run by a South Korean agent and allied with North Korea. Because of that, Mr. Yum and the man made Ildo kill Chu Jaewan. When Dongju called him father, Ildo thought he was playing a trick, and then Ildo remembered the phone call from Mr. Yum telling him that Dongju was his son. When Mr. Yum panicked seeing Dongju who was not dead, he told Guho to kill Dongju now. Suddenly Taeyun came and shouted at his father not to shoot Dongju. Then Dongju took Ildo's gun and pointed it at Mr. Yum's men, and they had no choice but to retreat because Taeyun was there too. Dongju felt weak because his leg was shot and Taeyun took him away. Meanwhile Mr. Yum was very upset. He tried to hit him but Ildo managed to avoid it. Dongju was treated at a clinic where Wanbi's former co-worker treated him. Taeyun was very worried about Dongju's condition and he immediately checked his condition. He apologized to Dongju and he would never forget what his father did to Dongju. Then Dongju held his hand. After all, Taeyun was his younger brother. Ildo met Kong Song because he knew that Jaewan's son was his son. How could Kong Song have been silent all this time and only now told him? Previously when Jaewan was talking to Sunho, he heard their conversation that the father of her son is Ildo. At that time Sunho wanted to tell Ildo about it, but Jaewan forbade him because she would tell him herself. And Sunho told Kong Song to leave it alone and let Jaewan take care of it. He asked Kong Song to pretend not to know about it. Ildo was very disappointed. Why didn't Kong Song tell him until now? According to Kong Song, knowing everything is not always good. Sometimes facts can hurt someone like violence. Not only Sunho, his son and son's mother are also dead, so that's why Kong Song is silent. Ildo remembers his past when he chatted with Sunho at his house. Ildo wanted to cooperate with Daesan where Sunho became Chairman Cho's son-in-law. He only asked for a small part of the shirt export line for his father's sewing factory. But since marrying Duqui, Sunho has received requests from everywhere. It is difficult for him to act as the eldest son-in-law of the group. Ildo felt that if the cooperation did not work out, his father's factory would close down, so he really asked Sunho for help. But Sunho still refused and apologized to Ildo. He asked Ildo to understand. And Sunho knew that Ildo was close to prosecutor Yoon Jang-seon, and mapped out their school's underground group for him. So, he became influential and could control Ildo since then. Sunho did not blame Ildo for what happened at that time, but was close to people like Yoon Jang-seon are different from giving in to torture and drawing a chart. Then Ildo asked if Sunho is an honest man. Why did Sunho have an illegitimate child from Jaewan? At that time Sunho wanted to explain, but he remembered that he had promised Jaewan, so he just let Ildo with the misunderstanding. When Ildo met Duqui, he felt that Duqui just misunderstood because Sunho reacted strongly when asked about Jaewan's child. But Duqui felt short of breath and wanted to commit suicide with Un-nam, because thinking about Jaewan's child made her short of breath. Duqui felt regretful. She should have married Ildo, and now she got a karma. Duqui was very worried about Ildo, because he hadn't left his room since the day after Chairman Cho's wedding and it had been a whole week. He didn't even touch his food at all and Duqui didn't know that there was actually a problem with her husband. Dongju came and asked Taeyun to open the door to his father's room. When he entered Ildo's room, Dongju felt that he had no manners because he entered as he pleased. He never imagined that Ildo would lock himself up all this time just because of Dongju's words calling him father. Don't tell him, Ildo wanted to show that he was suffering more than Dongju. Then Dongju gave their DNA results which showed that they were father and son. Dongju told Ildo to see it himself. Ildo was confused as to why Dongju gave it, because he knew it wasn't because Dongju called him father. Actually, Dongju would be confused how to react if Ildo begged him for forgiveness. However, because it turned out to be the opposite, Dongju didn't need to think anymore. Ildo told him that he would definitely kill him even though he knew that Dongju was his son. Hearing that, Dongju couldn't understand it. After locking himself up for a week, the best thought Ildo could get was to become a more cruel. Ildo felt that because he became the eldest son-in-law of Daesan Group, calling him father wouldn't change anything. He was the man who killed his own son, and he wouldn't stop shooting Dongju. Then most importantly, he wouldn't be controlled by Yum Jangxian, because Ildo would be the one controlling him. Dongju thought, Ildo was amazing for thinking like that, even though what Ildo should be able to do now was beg for forgiveness. Even though Dongju wouldn't forgive him, at least he had to beg for forgiveness from his late mother and Yeo San-ho. Ildo had hit his own son, then Ildo also shot him 3 times, and in the last shot he said, "I'm your son, father." However, Ildo still shot him. So where and how should Ildo start begging for forgiveness? Dongju felt that it was something he had to find out for himself, and Taeyeon was very worried about him. He was afraid that his father would commit suicide. Ildo asked why Dongju wanted him to be alive, but at that time Dongju did not answer him. When Wanbei wanted to give food to Yongchan, he was shocked because someone had sought the padlock. He then checked Jungko's prison and it turned out that he was still there. Then Wanbei told Dongju about it. Dongju felt that it would be difficult for them to reunite, because they lost the dandelion file and were dumped by Mr. Yum. So, Dongju thought, it would be better to just focus on helping Jungko recover. Meanwhile, Dukui saw the DNA document stating that Ildo and Dongju were father and son. Dukui really couldn't believe it. Secretary Gong, who saw her, immediately held her because Dukui almost fell. Ildo came to see Mr. Yum at his house. He was very angry because Mr. Yum told him that Dongju was his son over the phone. And at the same time, Dongju called him dad, and Mr. Yum gave the reason that he just found out. That's why he called Ildo and told him that. But Ildo didn't believe it. He asked Mr. Yum to tell the truth, because he had incited a father to kill his own son. Mr. Yum felt that he had chosen the wrong student because Ildo was very pitiful. Ildo should have been a cruel man who would not hesitate to kill for his ambition. Ildo only embarrassed himself, so wipe away those tears and let's seize Daesan. But Ildo instead told Mr. Yum to remove his hands from Daesan, because even though it was too late, he finally got rid of that devil Yum Jangxian from his life. Now Ildo will side with Dongju. He will continue to back Dongju, his competent son. He knows that he will not be forgiven as a father. However, Dongju will definitely agree if he asks to build Daesan together. After realizing that he had tried to kill his own son several times, now there is nothing that Ildo is afraid of or cannot do. Mr. Yum meets Chairman Cha and congratulates him on his marriage, and Chairman Cha feels that it is all thanks to Dongju who prepared it all. And soon he will also be his grandson-in-law because he will marry Unnam. Then Mr. Yum tells him that Dongju is the son of Ildo. They deceive the hate of the Daesan family. So, Mr. Yum tells Chairman Cha not to let Dongju get close to Cho Sianu, because he can bring Sianu down. Then Dongju comes in to ask for a signature about the work, but Chairman Cha feels that it is not too urgent and he still has more important guests. Dongju sees Mr. Yum and he feels something is suspicious, but he leaves them both because Chairman Cha doesn't seem to like his presence. Then Mr. Yum also instigates Chairman Cha that Dongju has hacked his computer and stolen the entire National Patriotism Fund. Dongju is manipulating the National Patriotism Fund as he pleases, to get rid of him and meet the elders directly, and Chairman Cha seems to have been successfully instigated by Mr. Yum. Ildo feels that if Dongju gives Chairman Cha the safe code, it will only harm Dongju. But Dongju gives him the old code, while the real code is only in his head. Dongju must fight Mr. Yum to the death before Chairman Cha's health gets worse, and he wants to know whose side Ildo is on. Ildo explains that he has cut ties with Mr. Yum. Continuing to follow someone who told him to kill his son is that even wild animals would not be able to do it. Chairman Cha is angry on the phone because he knows the relationship between Dongju and Ildo is the father and son from Mr. Yum, and Dongju apologizes to him. Dongju will explain when they meet later, but Chairman Cha invites them to chat while drinking at Dongju's house tomorrow night. Chairman Cha will bring some of the most expensive bottles of wine in the world, and he asks Dongju to prepare the food. Ildo comes to Dongju's house, while Chairman Cha says he will be late and asks them to start first. While waiting, they drink together while chatting. Although the only thing Ildo can do is beg for forgiveness, but seeing him regret like that, it is not easy to ignore it. Dongju is also sure that Chairman Cha will tell them to make up and live in harmony. At that time, Yongchan turned out to be in front of Dongju's house and he got a message to finish them off at once without any fuss. When Dongju took the wine, there was a bell and Dongju told Ildo to open the door and thought that the one who pressed the bell is the chairman of Cha. But he is Yongchan and he stabs Ildo's stomach. Then he tries to stab Dongju, but Dongju tries to fight him. Dongju tries to escape by climbing the stairs, but Yongchan chases him, and when Dongju is cornered, suddenly Ildo comes and holds Yongchan. He tried so hard to take Yongchan's knife but he has difficulty. Then he brings Yongchan to the edge of the stairs and he throws himself with Yongchan from the top of the stairs. Dongju screams and sees his father covered in blood because Ildo fell on his head.